Hey, welcome to my channel. This week I'm going to talk about some more obscure PlayStation consoles that never made it to shelves in North America. And the first console I'd like to talk about is the PSX. The PSX, not to be confused with the PS1, was a Japan exclusive PS2 system with expanded functionality. It was released in 2003 and it's essentially a PS2 with DVR functionality built in. There were two SKUs, a 160GB model and a 250GB model, selling for 79,800 and 99,800 yen respectively, which converts to about 740 and 920 US dollars at the time of release. It actually doesn't have any PlayStation branding on the housing other than the PSX logo in a PS2-like font, and it was actually released by Sony Corporation proper instead of Sony Computer Entertainment. In addition, it was also the first Sony device to use the XMB interface that we all came to know and love on the likes of the PSP and PS3. The device was discontinued in 2005, probably to make way for the PS3. However, you can still get them pretty easily on eBay for a couple $100 since they seem to have sold amazingly well at the time. Sony reportedly sold over 100,000 units in the first week alone. And next up is the PSP Street, which was a PAL region exclusive version of the PSP released in 2011, just weeks before the PlayStation Vita and about 2 years after the PSP Go. It was actually shown off side by side with the Vita at Gamescom in 2011 for 99 euros, while the Vita was 250 euros. It was a sort of budget-friendly last hurrah for the PSP, because it had less physical buttons, no Wi-Fi chip, and only one speaker. These days it goes for a bit above the original MSRP, but it's also pretty widely acknowledged to be one of the less desirable PSP models because of its limited feature set. The last obscure PlayStation console that I want to touch on is the Pocket Station. It's a cute little device that slots into the memory card port on PS1 units, and it was exclusively launched in Japan in 1999 with two color options. It's reported to have sold almost 5 million units despite never hitting North American or European shelves. It really reminds me of a Tamagotchi in terms of form factor and its features, like using infrared to play multiplayer games. In fact, the best-selling game for the Pocket Station was a virtual pet style game, which could be played on the PlayStation 1 main unit or on the Pocket Station. This game was also the debut of the Japanese PlayStation mascot Toro, who's still a pretty obscure character here in the West. I only recall ever seeing him in PlayStation All-Stars. He also appeared recently in the PlayStation Stars program as a trophy. Another crazy thing about the Pocket Station is that some of the games were later brought back in official emulation form on the PlayStation Vita in 2013, though that was also a Japan exclusive feature. The original device is actually pretty easy to find online. You can find it for under $50 pretty easily. Overall, I think these consoles really highlight the difference in taste and general unpredictability of the markets, especially between Japanese and Western tastes. For the Pocket Station, it's reported that it was never released in the West only because it was so popular in Japan and Sony couldn't actually keep up with the demand in just the one region, which is insane to think about and really makes you wonder how these sorts of systems would have fared stateside had Sony been able to release them simultaneously in both markets. Anyways, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, like and subscribe and all that good stuff, and let me know down below if you've actually seen any of these consoles in the wild.